Body crazy, curvy waist, big titties, little waist. Body yada 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 yada. I'm a hot girl. What's up, y'all? It's me, Erica, and this is not a review of anything. We're not reviewing anything. We're just down here to talk about a few things. We're not going to be down here very long. I have absolutely nothing to talk about. I just felt like I needed to give y'all a video. I haven't watched Bell Collective, but I will be reviewing Bell Collective, which is another Carlos King production on OWN. So if you guys want to watch that, I will be reviewing that. Word on the street, there's some other YouTubers reviewing that. I'm really glad that there is another show out there for us to review with a new group of women, produced by a black man, gay black man. I think Carlos is gay. Is Carlos gay? I don't know. Ooh, let me not say that. I don't know if he's gay or not. A black man producing a show. We loved Carlos King production. He produced he produces Love and Marriage Huntsville. He also produced R&B Divas, and with Todd, I think that was what's talking about. And it reminded me when I was watching Bondi Blue's review of Potomac, the last review, and she basically said, like, we need another type of show or another, network or something where we can look at other shows and review them, because a lot of people had a lot of criticisms of the way that Andy was engaging with Monique, and a lot of people who support Monique did not like the way that he was engaging with them. I think based on what I've seen, and I think what people see in Andy, and I will have to say this, that I saw it too. I see someone who is checked out. I see someone who no longer really is invested in the women. It was hard for me to believe that you asked Monique to rap on her first reunion. Maybe you thought it was a hobby, but for him to be like, are you a recording artist? Like, for real? I think a lot of people took offense to that. Much like he probably took offense to someone referring to the job that they work at as this little check. That little check don't mean nothing. So, it might have been some tension in between them, but from what I know, a lot of people who have this opinion about Andy do not watch other Housewives franchises. I think a lot of people who have an opinion on Andy only watch Atlanta and Potomac. When you will see that energy that he was giving, like, he's not interested, let's move on, I'm over talking about this, he gives that same energy to New York, New Jersey, Orange County, definitely. I think he's over Orange County. But there was one time when he actually yelled at the cast of New York to shut the fuck up. Like, he yelled it to them. You guys would have a heart attack if he yelled shut the fuck up to black women. So I'm just letting you know that if you are using how he treated Monique as a sample of to formulate your opinion, it would behoove you to watch other examples and to have some more of a sample in order to come up with an informed opinion about how he interacts with the other cast and the other women. Nate, he has his criticisms of Andy. He believes that Andy doesn't like the smart women, the women who are smart enough to catch his silliness and his shade, like Kenya. He doesn't really fuck with Kenya. He has like a love-hate relationship with Kenya, and Kenya's very aware of that, to the point where she would go on Watch What Happens Live and tell him, oh, you never let me win any of the polls. Every time somebody takes a poll, it's always against me. And he just laughs it off. But we know Andy is messy, so he would not be able to be Andy if he wasn't messy. You have to be messy in order to be around these women, not just Potomac. I'm talking about the other women. He throws shade at the other women. He questions their singing career. I think him putting Kim Zolciak on stage is because it's like a kitschy, fun, silly. Tardy for the Party is a silly song. Money Can't Buy You Class is a silly, kitschy song that goes in direct relation to Luann's personality and the Countess persona, or her Countess title. Now it's a persona because she's no longer a Countess. Well, if she gets married, she's no longer an accountant. But anyways, but I think that he kind of makes fun of it. And I don't think that anybody, and I'm not being shady, I don't think when he told her, that doesn't sound good. You making a song about your cast member that you assaulted, whether you say it's about her or not, the lyrics say something else. The lyrics, we are all able to read, we're all able to comprehend, we're all able to put things together and use deductive reasoning. It does sound like Monique is talking about her incident with Candace. I don't think anybody would put her on a Bravo stage to rap a song about assaulting her cast member. Nobody else's songs are about assault. Nobody else's songs about giving a girl what she asked for. None of their songs are like that. So I understand how you guys might feel about it, but you have to think about it. Outside of your emotional connection that you all seem to have with Monique, you have to think about, would your employer allow you to perform a song that you made on the after you beat up one of your cast members? Whether you think she deserved it or not, you made a song about it. I don't think anybody's going to allow her on a Bravo platform to perform that anywhere. I think the further she's going to go with that performance is her YouTube video. I haven't watched the YouTube video yet. I heard it was a little cringy, but and I'm all for, like Candy, she got her fly above the haters. That came from something that happened on the show. Tardy for the Party came from what happened on the show. Money Can't Buy You Class came from what happened on the show. We can think of all the different songs. Coffee and that wasn't even a song. Candace's song came from her love for her husband. All of these songs have kind of a historical reference that isn't so dark. We'll just say it like that. Maybe you will understand it if I say it like that. But I'm back to watching we're going to watch Bell Collective. We are going to watch Love and Marriage. I don't know if I'm going to review Love and Marriage Huntsville, because Martell and Marceau, the one that don't have any teeth out here, I don't know if I'm gonna be able. If I got through Potomac, I think I could get through Love and Marriage Huntsville. So we might review that. We'll definitely be reviewing Bell Collective, and I think some other YouTubers are reviewing. So we'll have new shows. And I agree. Like I said, I'm not too far removed from abandoning the shows on Bravo, because I'm bored of OC. I stopped reviewing that. New York, I'm going to be interested to see it because Ebony is going to be there, and I want to see how she engages with a 54%er like Ramona Singer. So I'm interested in seeing that. And I already know that Ramona Singer already has a lot of embedded racial biases, so I want to see how she's going to engage with Ebony K. Williams, who is also Leah's friend. And you see how you do that. You bring in a younger person, Leah, and then Leah brings in someone else, and then maybe Ebony can bring in someone else from their circle. You kind of have to switch it. Like Fallon. I'm interested in Fallon. I'm interested in Toya. I'm interested in Drew. I'm not interested in Candy opening another business. I'm not interested in watching Kenya's struggle love story. I'm not interested in watching Portia's struggle love story and her play in the street. I am not interested in, who else? Cynthia. Definitely not interested in Cynthia. We love Cynthia, but girl, and like, I think it was Funky Daniva who said Cynthia's story needs a button on it. Like Wendy says, it needs a button on it. We've seen your children grow up. Like Nene, you're a grandmother now. It was only right for Nene to kind of like phase out of the show. It's nothing else that you can give us. We're not interested in Greg. That would be like watching Karen and Ray, having a show with Karen and Ray. Nobody's interested in watching you and Greg piddle around and you running around after these old men. We're not interested. Y'all married these old ass men, and after a while, we don't want to look at them anymore. We don't want to look at Greg, especially if you're not going to be honest about your relationship Like when she was on Lip Service, that's the Nene I like. Go watch the Lip Service with Angela Yee. I love that Nene. She was personable. She was in her like girl mode. She wasn't on defense. And I think that's another thing about that's wrong with the formula with these housewives is the women aren't friends. And what we're witnessing is pretty much like Survivor. You have your alliances, and at the end of the season, we see who gets voted off or not, who the tribe votes off. You form these alliances, you're telling secrets, you're not being your authentic self, and now you're on defense every time you're out. Fabulous Women Who Brunch should not be this exhausting. It should be a little bit more lighthearted. I think where it went dark is bringing the ex-wife of a cast member onto the show. I really think that crossed the line of everything. That really crossed the line. You know, we can use Kenya bringing the cookie lady as a comparison. Was Kenya wrong? If Tanya would have tore that place up, I think everybody would have understood, like, girl, you brought this man's mistress, alleged mistress here. Girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? We would have understand if Tanya tore that damn place up. You understand? We know what's crossing the line, and we know what's wrong. We know what's out of order. I think Monique bringing that Kendall to the show, I think that really like sealed her fate with Giselle. I think it was really a wrap after that. And to bring her with no reason, right? Like Giselle just didn't like you. She didn't do anything to you. She just didn't like you. So to go that far, like with Kenya and Tanya, they had some kind of beef, right? She brought the wig, Kenya brought the cookie lady, right? That was her way while it was out of balance, and it was like, oh my God, she did that as a response. What Monique did was not it was with encouragement from Charisse, and she was doing it to please Charisse while also trying to get back at Giselle for not liking her, and it just went the wrong way. And it's too much like Survivor. I do want to see more women who are friends with each other sit down, talk shit, you know, have lunch, argue, throw shade. We were talking about the battle royale between Claudia and Nene the other day in Puerto Rico. Can you imagine Monique going back and forth with Claudia? The way that Claudia was coming at Nene, Monique would have jumped over that damn table. I mean, and Claudia, that is the epitome. If you want to know what Housewives is about, go watch Porter Reed Co. with Claudia. Don't watch Phaedra's rehearsed read, because like I said on Twitter yesterday, if somebody would have actually interrupted Phaedra, she would have lost her place. Reading is shading a bitch. It's so slick, and it's factual, and it's just like off the top of your head, right? Everybody knows that. That shows how well you are, how quick you are. Candy has admitted she's not quick. Cynthia, she gives you when she has to. Nene is very quick. We know Kenya is quick. Portia, she's gotten better since she's been on the radio. I think part of her being on the radio, having to be quick like that, I think when we saw after Portia was on the radio, she got a little bit more quicker with her comeback. She got a little bit funnier. But we know Claudia and Nene, if you want to go watch what the Real Housewives is all about, go back, watch them going back and forth. Claudia had a thing for, oh, you college educated, girl, spell bridesmaid. The S is not silent, honey. When Nene said that Claudia was a whore, she came back and said, bitch, you jealous? Like, girl, like back and forth, they had everything. That was like the epitome of what it should be. I think everybody is really tired and exhausted from all of this. I know that I needed to decompress for a day. A lot of people, you know, are just really wanting to see something different. So we will be watching Bell Collective, another Carlos King production, and we're happy to see that. I think it premiered last night, or they showed like a preview last night, so we'll be watching that. Other than that, there's nothing much else that I really wanted to say. I just wanted to come down here just to talk a little bit about just like being tired. Like I don't think that any Housewives show should be as exhausting as that. I should not be yelling at a camera over this it shouldn't be that. It should not. It should not. We should have a different, like, you have your faves. We call out, people, oh, you just lie, you excusing her raggedy behavior. We doing all of that. But when you get to the point of where they got to the point to, and it's just dragged out the whole season, and it's so polarized, and I think people are literally tired and they don't want to see nothing that has to do with Potomac again. And Andy's behavior, yes, I think you'd make a better informed opinion if you watched how he engaged with other housewives. Talking about their money, I think shout out to Brooke Ashley, shout out to her. She said, when Andy mentions something and starts asking you about your money, he knows something. And I think that exchange between that little check and then him questioning whether they had money or not, I think that was a little back and forth. I don't think you can go anywhere. Go to work today and tell your boss, this little check, I don't need this little check. My husband, not me, but my husband has a sickening investment portfolio. See what happens when your contract is going to get renewed. See how that works. I don't think you can go anywhere. And I know that you want to feel like, oh my God, my fave is being kicked off and he's being rude to her. But I don't think you can go anywhere and tell your boss to their face and laugh it off. And when you say your little girlfriend or your little business, when you mention little, that's a way to be dismissive, and everybody knows that, or to make it seem not as important. Everybody knows that. I don't think we're dumb around here. That's another thing. The constant insults of people's intelligence in order for you to like justify your behavior. We got to get out of that. Don't insult people's intelligence. I think that's another thing that people are tired of. We know what you meant. You meant to dismiss it. You're in defensive mode. You're out here deciding whether you need to fight for your job or not. You're put in a different hotel room. That's a lot. And I would have been defensive too. And that little check, we're going to all have to agree it was a way to be dismissive to Andy, the show, and the entire thing. Does Monique need the money? None of the housewives need the money. They all married or have come from wealth. None of them need the money. Now maybe Nene needs the money. Candy don't need it. Cynthia don't need it. Fallon don't need it. LaToya don't need it. It's a nice to have, but I don't think anybody needs it, right? So, and I think that we can all agree that a lot of the housewives have used their housewives platform and that money to almost kind of separate and become more independent and not dependent on their husband's wealth. And we've seen it over and over and over again. Baby Margaret from New York, she had all kind of tax issues. She was being sued. They talked about it. They talked about her, what's going on with this and they talked about all that stuff. So I think in order to have a better informed opinion about the way that Andy is treating these housewives, you have to watch the way he interacts with other housewives. And it's not different. It's not different. I think everybody was exhausted from that season. I think everybody was, and I think you have the right to be exhausted from that. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot, and it was a battle of what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable on these shows. And I think people are tired. I think the lack of progression from when Kenya and Candy got into it to now is very alarming. I don't feel like anybody has even been like, okay, now we got to say this is not acceptable. We have to say that. Otherwise, when they showed Love and Hip Hop, when Stevie J and Jocelyn ruined the entire reunion, fighting, running up on people, fighting people, we don't want to get to that as a form. I think everybody was like, girl, this is a mess. This is a mess. And I don't think Mona Scott Young would come out and say, it's okay that they did that. She would say, no, it's not okay. Even though she is profiting from it, no one in their right mind is going to admit that they're profiting on the degradation of black women or black women fighting or black women looking a certain way. And it's not even about looking a certain way, because we understand that people lose it sometimes. It's how we respond to it and what's deemed as an acceptable form of entertainment. And we don't want to get to that. And obviously, they did accept it. They sent her another contract, whether it was too low for her liking and she just decided to, like, I don't want to be a friend, or whatever she has decided, then I think it's best for her. If she hadn't left, I think Candace should have left, because I think everybody needs, like, you know what? No, I take that back. Candace, I don't think Candace should. I think it would be right for Monique to kind of get regrounded. Go back home, ground yourself in your identity, ground yourself in authenticity, and just reground. Maybe she'll come back with a more secure foundation in who she is, so that she's not worried about whether Giselle likes her. That bitch don't like you. And this thing with Candace was just her way, like, bingo, I don't really have to do nothing to her. Now she done put her hands on this girl. I could really stand behind not being agreeable with violence. That was her. Monique putting her hand on Candace was Giselle's ticket to get that girl out of here. That was her. She loved it. And to Karen's point, yeah, she probably did like it, because we know that she doesn't like her. She's never liked her. And this girl has done all this thing and still didn't cross. She still didn't cross. A lot of this thing, go back and watch a lot of this thing came from her wanting to be liked. And I just want her to go home, relax, and maybe just take a year off and maybe come back, or maybe go to Love and Hip Hop, or maybe go to OWN. Maybe go get an OWN show with you and your family. I mean, because a lot of Monique's fan base find her relatable because they desire to mimic her lifestyle. A lot. I mean, we're going to be honest. A lot of people love that she has married this football player. She has this, money. She dresses nice. She's very beautiful, and she's silly. She's petty. A lot of, you have this husband, and she complains about, having work to do around the house, but this is the life you chose. You chose to be the wife of a retired football player. Maybe they can follow her around on OWN. Maybe Carlos can get with her and they can produce a show with her and Krista Samuels, something. They could do, if they could do it with Croy and Kim, they could do it with the Samuels, honey. And watch little Milani growing up. I'm sure she's going to be precocious. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, But I think everybody is tired. And I think we want to see something new. And that's why I'm going over to OWN. We're going to review Bell Collective. And I might review Love and Marriage Huntsville. I don't know, because it depends. It depends on what's happening. It depends. We might have to come down here and talk about it, because that's another show that people are too invested in. I got accused, baby. I only talked about it in the middle of a Hot Topics review, and baby, the girls was in the comments telling me that I cape for men. Girl, you must be new. How could you defend this man's behavior? Like it's this personal connection that they have with the Holtz and the what's the other people? Smith? I don't know what their last names are. The Holtz? I don't know what their last names are. Anyways, and Letitia, her and her husband, we'll talk about it. I think we will talk about it. We can talk about it. Anyways, y'all, I just wanted to come down here, give my closing remarks, to just really put a bow on this and tie it up. And I did want to come down here and talk about Andy, because I am one that watches. I have been watching, I've been watching Bravo since Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. So Orange County came on. I've been watching Orange County. This is probably the third season that I've skipped out on Orange County mid-season. Just boring. Real Housewives of Atlanta, boring. New Jersey, we'll see what's going to happen with that, because Teresa has a new boyfriend, so we'll see how she navigates through that. And the other women in New Jersey, I would love to see Margaret. Hope Margaret comes back. I don't know if she's coming back. I hated to see Dorinda go from New York. I love Dorinda. She was my favorite. Dorinda. And we'll see. We'll just see how it goes, you guys. So hopefully you guys will have a good night. Happy full moon. Today is the 30th. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Hopefully you guys are going to maybe do a New Year's Eve thing at home and relax with your family and stay safe. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Peace.